TV news article, also confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, that Ten Hag's future is safe for now. Backing by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, with the new structure coming in July, there simply is no time or patience to replace the manager. So they are planning to stick with Ten Hag, and we're going to discuss why, the reasons why, because this has been backed up by Fabrizio Romano. And of course, we're going to talk about the ins and outs, which is going to be the crucial element for Manchester United this summer. This is Mick Ruby. This is the Manchester United News Corner, and I'm joined in the studio with Mark Nurse. Stick around. You know what to do. Smash that like button because it's free. Subscribe if you haven't, because here we go.
Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
Dankjewel. I feel welcome. Dit is mijn home and I want to achieve success. Okay?
Ten Hag wants to achieve success. And good afternoon, people. Good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Are you having your lunch break? And good afternoon to you, Mr. Mark Nurse. How are you doing? You're on mute as per usual. Unmute yourself, sir.
I'm really good. I enjoyed it yesterday, not really due to the results, but more due to the news coming in after reading your article a few hours ago. Yesterday, I believe, the one you posted, but then you had the article you posted 2 weeks ago, and now it's all coming to the fore where everyone is now catching up Slowport news. Mick, power to you, bro. Hope you're having a good one.
Sir. Thank you. But let's start with some positives. As we are United fans, we are kind of laughing a little bit. And thank you, Real Madrid, a proper club that was helping us during the Munich disaster, helped us to stop a not so real team to reach to the semis and actually winning a double, triple, or whatever, fipple, or whatever you might call it. And Arsenal also being that deflated balloon, what I'm also calling them out for, fizzling out and just crashing against Bayern Munich. So, Mark, talk to me. Manchester United had a torrid season, but for me, the joys of tears, I could not hold myself. I did a match reaction, a little bit premature, but I was just laughing. This made my season, and it's banter in a way, so don't take it too serious. How do you feel regarding this, Mark?
Football Heritage won, man. Football Heritage won. And this is what we always keep saying, Mick. Football Heritage is a serious thing. And Man City, they might be developing that heritage right now as we speak, but it has not become a heritage yet. It's just been developing still. And, it's one of those things where you look at it in two minds. They are one of the best teams in the world currently. We might call them a plastic club. They might have the empty hat. But you know what? They play good football. And to see them lose is always a good thing because, Manchester is red. It's not blue. And it's just one of those things where they went home blue. And we're happy to be there for that, to see that.
Yeah. There's a song with, I think it's Frank Sinatra that sings that when the moon hits the pie, it hits the sky like a big pizza pie. That's amore. Yesterday, what about Bernardo Silva? I call him Bernardo Pen Silva. If you were playing golf, you would have put out the driving wedge and just hit it right into the net. But Bernardo Silva tend to put out the chipping wedge. What the hell was that?
Man.
I wasn't do that and just collected. Like, what is that? Like,
I was in a heated debate with Papi and them last night over that because I felt like it's hard to say such an experienced player, was intimidated or put off by waiting 30 more seconds. So for me, it was hard to say or think that. I just felt like maybe he just missed, or while other people might be saying, there's a conspiracy theory that he's ready to go. He wants to leave to Barcelona. No. So
I think it got to it mentally. But I find it funny tragically, because you can be such a great player. You can do a lot of things in football, being recognized, but people will remember this penalty, right? And they will judge him on this. If it wasn't for that, City would have gone through, because let's face it, City was the better team, right? In the second half, they were totally dominating the extra time. Real Madrid was just sitting back and defending. But Arsenal, on the other hand, it's another deflating. They're not there yet. It will take another 1 to 2 transfer season. I mean, going to Allianz Stadium, Bayern Munich is always that kind of team that grows into the competition, even if they've been playing crap, doing poorly in the Bundesliga. This is their competition. Same with Real Madrid. Real Madrid, you might as well call it Real Madrid Cup, like the Champions League, because they always find a way.
They always find a way. And, Arsenal fans, they know they've been really, really good this season in the Premier League. But, a lot of the things is they always been having problems with cups in the last couple of years. They always get knocked out early in the EFL, the FA Cup. They're always out early. And it's sad. They went on a good run. They reached to the quarterfinals. That's really huge for them. They haven't been there in, what,
Yeah,
8 years or something like that. That's really good for the club. But, realistically, Bayern Munich is one of those teams that they have that
100%.
European pedigree.
They
And
do.
to not win the game at home was the biggest mistake for Arsenal as well. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So you go to Bayern away, it's
I
all
spoke
the
to my
cards to lose.
my my best friend, my brother from another mother. Like, he's a diehard Gooner over WhatsApp, and he said, "You know what? Perhaps Arteta has taken us to the limit. Like, we need somebody, a cherry on the top, or one more, or one or two more transfer windows signings to get there. Right? Maybe he has a point. Maybe Arteta is the one that takes. It's like a relay. When you're running 400 meters relay on Olympics, like, you need that somebody that takes that stick. The final hurdle, like the final 100 meters to get them running in. So
Hmm.
I would say big up for Arsenal. I mean, they are reminding us what we used to do. They stuck to the manager. This was his fourth season, and they are cooking. Like, they're playing good
Four
football.
and a half.
Weird to say, but is it come to that they need that extra pedigree of manager that can transport them to the finish line? What's your thoughts on that? Or one or two more signings, like a forward and a killer
I
Lucas?
mean, it's a tough one with Arsenal if we're going to talk about them. You know what I mean? It's tough. It's tough to say because I feel like the squad, largely a young squad. Yeah, they brought in some top quality players like a Declan Rice and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
at the same time, it's always going to be difficult. You're chasing Man City, the pressure of the league being on top.
Yeah, pressure. It's
I mean,
inexperience. If you look at the league, like, City has the experience, right? Arsenal is back in the Champions League. They don't have the experience. They're still young and developing. Anyway, guys, so many thanks for coming in as well, guys. And listen, big up for everyone that's tuning in on your lunch break. We can all see you in the VER room. Lucky Singh is here, the Truth Seeker, Gordon McKenney. There's a lot of you coming in here for the news. And we're going to talk about this because amidst that, a lot of media has been covering the potential replacement of Ten Hag. INEOS has come out to say that we have no intentions to actually replace the manager. Our top priority is to get the directors on board, Omar Barada, Ashford, Wilcox, and potentially then go for the head of recruitment. So Ten Hag, when he's been speaking in press conference, he's been truthful, telling you the truth, and he said he's been always in conversation with INEOS or Trawlers Limited, Ratcliffe, and Sogdev Brailsford. What's your initial thought on that? Because Fabrizio Romano comes out and also backs this up. But when Fabrizio Romano speaks, he doesn't go out and speak just because to make clout. Nowadays, Fabrizio Romano comes out and speak when he's factually knows that this is 100% correct. Mark, I want to hear from you.
well, like I'm a start off because I'm thinking a little bit like Yali Malmin. We might have a little bit of a divergence somewhere, but I think I'll agree with him. And it says time will tell about ETH. He can be removed or he can get a new contract, becomes a head coach with a new contract.
Yeah,
So where he goes, where he can, time will tell. I totally agree because I feel like the first season he kind of played to the strengths of the players, and this season while he tried to implement a system, it was largely due to the fact that players weren't able to adapt and some players
yeah,
weren't able to, maintain the necessary basic energy levels and intensity levels. So I would also say that, like there's no fuss. We know Ten Hag has done well at Ajax where he had a system above him and a structure that was saying, listen, we're going to bring these players. You need to work with them. but they also suit what you're trying to do with your definition of expansive football. So at the same time, as long as we could marry the two things so the club move forward, I wouldn't mind giving Erik Ten
Mm.
Hag one more season, because I feel like he might not have really earned it this season with the senior team. But if you look at it holistically, over the 18 months, his improvements in the academy, well, I'm not putting that all on him, but he definitely had a say in the way
Right.
players were moved in the academy. And if you look
Yes.
at some players skipping the under 21 straight to the first team, then you have to
That's no.
highlight that that's not natural progress.
No. It comes down to the article that I posted, and I've been saying this since January, since Troll is Limited came in and took. I've been consistent to say we are on a generational makeshift, mean we are building a new future team. That means that who's going to be staying here now if Ten Hag is here? 100% they're going to look at every single player that's been there since Jose Mourinho to try to fizz them out. That is going to be the biggest challenge. But I would say that there's four major factors why they are sticking to him, and one is the eye for actually going playing the youth the Manchester United way. Like you're old enough, you're good enough, and our youth academy has been developed over the 4 or 5 years. They've been investing heavily with Nicky Cox and even John Murta that was part of it, but that is now bearing fruit. We have the under 18s that won the Premier League playing Erik Ten Hag style football. Now we're going to play a scene from that mark as well. So if you don't mind, people, smash the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't. Let's do this, Mark. Let's transition to this scene, and then you will understand what's going on here beneath the scene. Right? This is the future, and this is what they are developing on. This is the generational makeshift. Ethan, yeah. So that means that, in a way, Mark, that he's got his eye on the price here. He's got the eyes on the talent. He knows exactly who he wants, and that tells you, like in the summer when he actually gave the green light for the people to go on loan, who is in his plan and who he wants to get rid of, because you can't keep them all. But the under 18s is probably the best academy since the 1992. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean Nick Cox and the guys, even Murtaugh and some of the guys before, like Nicky Butt, these guys are instrumental in starting that process where they were building their academy. You know what I mean? And then 18 months ago when we got Erik Ten Hag, I feel a lot of people forget all the media reports were saying that his first focus was on the academy, and in the first 3 months there was a lot of restructuring going on where he changed a lot of the teams. And when I say change a lot of the teams, like if you look at the ages of these youngsters playing in the under 18s, most of them are 16, just turning 17. Three of them have signed their first professional contract when they turned 17 this year. So that just shows you that these guys came up from the under 16s. Where are the former under 18s? Well, they're in the under 21s. And where the former under 21s, well, last season we
Yeah,
sold 27 youngsters. So it's one
100%.
of those things where the development is going to take time, and it's
Yep.
now starting to bear fruit.
Yep. And
Let's
that
move forward.
is point number one why he's staying, according to INEOS eyes. They want to, their transfer policy window is to look at youth. They're not going to sign anyone under 26. They're not going to sign the Mbappes. They're going to make the Mbappes. So that is number one. And they are recognizing Ten Hag is the one that can develop and nurture the youth. I mean, we've seen Kobe Maino coming through. We've seen Garnacho being getting minutes, a lot of minutes, actually. Willie Kwanbala. We've seen Ethan. Wheatley being brought up into first team training, signing his first contract, Harry Amas, many players. So you can understand then that the transfer window would be smaller in terms of what they're going to recruit, because they're going to bank on the youth, but the signings that they're going to recruit is identify as the weakest links. Like we're talking about the CDM position, two center backs, and that means that you're going to ship up a lot of players because you're going to integrate new blood with existing blood And from there on, it's going to be athleticism. You're going to be able to play that style of play, high intensity, high press, which you said earlier we haven't been able to do so because a the players that he inherited or already in the squad don't have it in the locker room. Two, they're not following the instructions, which has always been the rules and principles, the 10 commands of Ten Hag. And three, it is time to go, right? It's overstaying. So if we're going to turn the page, what's been said and what I've been reported is that, he's got 1 year left on his contract. Doesn't really make sense. They will give him a probation period with the new backing, with the new structure coming in, see how you go. And if it goes tits up, excuse my language, you have nothing else to lose because there are better managers available in 2025, which is on INEOS radar. But currently, at this moment, there is no manager, not De Zerbi. It's more the media that's been speculating. No De Zerbi, no Potter, no Southgate. And this is the media fueling the fire. They have had no conversations with any of them. It's been more agents talk fueling the media. And that's been ratified and now confirmed even by Fabrizio Romano. And this is what I've been saying, right? So you got to be careful to listen to what the media is saying in certain ways and have a balanced approach. I do understand that it's creating the out movement because that is what media is there to do, right? They've been doing it for years. Every 18 months, the proof is in the pudding. They are lifting up the manager and then they're starting to, throwing knives at a dagger because they want to sack the manager so they can generate more clicks and stories to have something to write about. Now, on the other hand, as well, when we are not playing football, it is rosy. But as soon as we play football and start losing games, it's been amplified, right? We're talking about no style of play. We haven't even had a style of play for what 11 years, to be argued to say, Mark. Um, we had a pretty decent first season. We won a Carabao Cup. We finished third, and this season has just been crumbled. And then comes to number two, which has been recognized as well, is the injuries. We had 60 types of injuries, and that is affecting how you will line up. But number three, which a lot of people are now questioning, and I agree, I'm on the camp, your in-game management has been poor. And this is something that he can improve. And I believe that they will have conversations with him. Listen, Erik, if you're going to continue this, you got to have a better in-game management. You got to rotate because we cannot have it like this. So, what else?
I feel like you didn't, you mentioned that, but you also didn't mention that recently the reports are a lot of channels have now been picking up. Maybe they read your article last week or 2 weeks ago when you posted it, talking about you know we are really interested in Dan Ashworth and how we're going to go after him and where we might be meeting in the
Yes, yeah,
middle.
yeah, yeah.
And I know a lot of people didn't notice that article, Mick, because they're only coming out now saying that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is, hands on, when you basically said all of that like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So
I even
maybe you can
said
give us
that.
a little bit of insight on that.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been consistent because a I work within the market. I cannot tell you much, but the source that I have actually been given the task to actually recruit in the replacement for Newcastle, and the person in charge as well has good personal relationship with Dan Ashworth. So there is somebody that I trust well. Um, Believe it or not, even if you're on garden leave, there is you're still acting behind the scenes, like you're still giving, like, come on, come on, come on, right? So the question is broad. You've been giving your notice period, you've been negotiating to have your leave, and Manchester United is coming in to say, well, listen, we will pay you the difference because when you are having a 12 months notice period and you've been put on garden leave, that means that you're not coming into work, but you're still getting compensated. So what you see here is a sign-on bonus, and what you most likely will be hearing is a club statement at the end of the season to say he will start in July 2024. Now the deal has been done 1 month ago or more in principle, like 10 million to Newcastle due to reimburse them that they actually paid 5 million to Brighton when they actually pinched Ashford, and the remaining, will go to the club. But the 5 million goes to sign-on bonus to Ashford to compensate the loss of compensation, right? So I've been consistent about this, and I also told you about, Ashford as well. Ashford will start in the beginning. earlier to act as an interim on the behalf of Omar Barada and everyone else to facilitate the transfer window so we have a smooth transition, right? The summer window has already been planned in advance, and these guys just need to give the green light. Disagree, agree. We've been identified the centre backs, we've been identified the midfield, we've been identified the striker target, which I've been told with very, very long time it's Benjamin Sesko. Xerxes, on the other hand, was appreciated by the club, but he's way, way too much money, and Aston Villa is most likely the one to sign him. So keep an
100%.
eye on Sesko, and I've been quite consistent. But at the end of the day, I'm just a small fish, and what I care about is the truth. What I care about is giving a balanced approach towards our viewers and Manchester United fan base. Right? You don't stick your head out without even, if you wouldn't trust your sources, you wouldn't stick your head out. But at the end of the day, big up for the media for actually starting to do some real journalism, start picking up the pace.
100%. And like I know boxing straight talk here is thinking to himself, there's no way Ten Hag could be staying. But I implore you to take a step back and remember what was said by the likes of Ralph Ragnick. When the club
They
decided they
interviewed Ralph
wanted.
Ragnick. Sorry, they've also interviewed Ralph Ragnick to get the feedback.
Exactly. So this is why I was saying when Sir Jim Ratcliffe says that they're going to look at the style of play, meaning they're going to discuss with Ten Hag, all right, this is how you want to play, what kind of players you need. Okay, the club wants to play this similar way, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in players that could play possession football, attacking football, high energy. You now need to work with that. And this is what all top clubs do. This is what Ralph Ragnick said we should do. But it takes time. And
Yeah,
it's not gonna just be that one season, because look at the squad. It hasn't really turned over. There's still a core group of players, more than 7, that's been here, that starts 2, 3 managers before
yeah.
him. So
I just wanted to mention a very key point in the very first interview when he was ratified. He said fan base need to have patience, right? When you say there's no way, trust me, Dale Brailsford is an expert in organizational development, meaning that he's gone over the strategic review, has interviewed he has flipped every stone. And he said it's not the coach's fault. He's absolutely recognized every single step, right? So he said, one keep fans, you need to have patience. And this is what he's recognizing. I know that the media is giving this persona that, we don't have any patience. And this is typical, like the 18-month cycle. They start to feeding you. But what goes on behind the scenes, it's their decision. 100%, right? Champions League was said to be a favorite for them to get into because that generates a lot of money that will help. However, they've seen the opportunity to sort of get rid of a lot of in the wage bill, to slim down the wage bill, which will also save them money as well, and bringing on the youth on the cheap as well. So there you have the common nominator how you will actually save money into towards the FFP. Um, so it doesn't really aligning for the silver bullet for the manager. And it doesn't really make sense from a financial perspective as well, because it's going to cost money to sort of get rid of the entourage, like Ten Hag and his coaches. Minimum £10 million to get rid of them. And that is kind of the money that they don't want to take from now. It doesn't really make sense to rip up the trees. No matter if you're in or out, you got to look at the club's perspective, and you got to recognize that with the youth, and this is my opinion now, with the youth, with the backing, because we've been needing this restructure for proper rebuild from structure from above, getting in like proper football operation people, give them backing, give them the clear out the Deadwood in the summer, bring in new people, and see how you go. Right? If that doesn't work, fair enough. The proof is in the pudding, and then 2025 we have better managers aligned.
Boxing Straight Talk is coming back in. He's saying Mick is definitely partly Ten Hag's fault because he's technically inept, never manages to adjust the gaps in midfield. No way he can stay, in my opinion. And, Mick,
Yes,
I kind of agree, but I kind of also, in a
I
way,
do
I
too.
kind of see where it's one of those things that it also says that sometimes the players might not be able to marry the system, execute well. Sometimes the energy levels of some players in the
Energy.
midfield aren't up to par, so the performances will always look worse. So, but I do agree that some changes need to be made, whether it be his tactics or the players. But at the same time, like I keep saying, Mick, I don't know if you might agree with me. This is our second season of a rebuild, so he should be allowed to make some
Yeah.
mistakes.
I agree and I disagree, and let us unpack Boxing Straight Talk's point here. I do definitely agree that the style of play it's referring to that in tactics is not really there. Bear in mind he did implement a new tactics this season, and then you got to take in consideration the personnel is not been available, right? But it keeps persisting because that is his plan A, right? We can critique that you don't have any plan B, but I would say like wait, because if you look at the under 18s, they're playing the style and they won the Premier League for under 18s, right? We saw the video how he was congratulating. That means he has the eyes on the prize. Now, secondly, on this matter is I rather see players that not deserve to be in the club anymore get out the door before we sack another manager. I agree on that. And thirdly, I back the idea to actually see what you can do under the right structure, give him 1 year recruitment, and see how we go from next season. And that's what I said. If that doesn't work, INEOS have the preferred candidate lined up already, the target list.
100%. And never miss Rob. Gotta love Olmo, bro. He's coming in. No, I
Tell him,
disagree. The manager should have made all his mistakes in the first season. Now he's 1 year behind. Well, I disagree with that mathematics there, because if the manager had implemented his stuff in the first season, we probably would not have got Champions League. We would not have finished third. We would not have played two cups. And that
yeah,
would be because you saw it in the first two games. We lost 4-0 and what, 4-1 or something like that.
yeah.
So I feel like you have to look at it from the perspective that the core group of this team cannot play the way the manager
No,
and
they
the club
can't. And
wants
why?
to play.
Because
So
because they've been coached for years to play pragmatic counter-attacking football.
100%.
Going all the way from Jose Mourinho, it was always counter-attacking, counter-attacking, counter-attacking. And even Jose had problems. And Jose, I mean, you saw Schweinsteiger coming out to say, like, he spoke shit about, Jose Mourinho. Have you read that article, by the way? That's a discussion for another topic. But my problem with this is the media in general, like lazy journalism. Like they've been on a warpath, throwing in. I mean, you got to stop and think. Why are you doing this? You're throwing in names in the rabbit in the hat, like names without even knowing what's going on behind the scenes because they have not appreciated this. Like Southgate, what the hell? The Serbies, unproven, too young. If you marry in what they want to do, they want to start winning trophies as soon as possible. The Serbia is not your answer. Thomas Tuchel is not your answer. Graham Potter is not your answer. They are linking this Potter with the Serbia because it's the Brighton links and Ashford. You see how the lazy it is, right? But at the end of the day, are these people the ones that could elevate this current squad to win, to make them to a champions? No. My answer is no. So you got to look beyond in 2025 who is available out of contract. The gentleman that won yesterday, Don Carlo, the smoked Pep Guardiola, is available. Pep Guardiola himself is also available 2025. You also have Javi Alonso available in 2025. In the midst of everything, a lot of clubs are looking for new managers. So why would you all of a sudden then, in my opinion, humble opinion, go for something unproven, lesser? It's like you're already driving a Tesla, right? I know the Tesla is a little bit faulty in terms of the techniques, but that can be adjusted to sort of downgrade it to a Fiat. It doesn't really make sense if you're gonna move forward. So you got to, in my opinion, stop for a while, smell the coffee. You understand what the root cause problem is, but that could be fixed, alternated, and address it in the summer and address it in the if that doesn't work, you have better managers. Five players in, five players out. 100% lucky. Players need to go.
And like I would say, like I agree with that 5 players in, 5 players out, because I feel like a lot of fans in here who don't like Ten Hag, they wish Sancho was here. They think he's doing amazing at Dortmund. Well, I will tell you now, I've seen him live a couple times this season at Dortmund, because I live in Germany. It's like 40 minutes from where I am at, right? and the guy has not played that great.
No,
The
no, I see
media is
that.
surely making him look
Yep.
a lot better than he has performed in most. Like, I would admit he has had 3 games where he was really good, but I would always employ to fans that you have to remember, before Ten Hag came, he was not pulling up any trees at
No, he
United. So
wasn't. He wasn't.
let's not blame Ten Hag for a problem that was here before him.
No, but
And
he's been dealing with a lot of problems. He dealt with Cristiano Ronaldo, Rashford. Rashford, he was strong arm in certain sense. But to speak about Jadon Sancho, he didn't play football for 4 months. He refused to apologize. He undermined the manager, the team, the teammates, and everything. And I said that, like, as soon as they qualified for the semifinals, you saw headlines coming out. Oh, like, look at Sabitzer, ex-Man United player, Sancho. But the fact is, there was a report to say, like, if Ten Hag gets sacked, removed, Sancho is willing to come back. And I said, hold on a second. Are we then gonna allow player power to come back into the frame again? No. There's no way, because for me that was just media talks and they've been nipped in the bud. There's no way he's going to come back to the club after this. They want to sell him. They want to get rid of him. If you look at what Omar Barada been saying as well, like, he's looking at performance manager. If you haven't performed within 2 years, sayonara, chop the contract, sell. Goes back to Omar Barada's principles. Now, in that sense, Mark, let's transition over to the outs, because if Ten Hag is backed in the summer now, with the new people coming in, right? We're talking about Ashford, Omar Barada, Will Cox is going to be in charge of the academy development. 100%, that is so important, the bridge over. Um, who do you think now, with the style of play or the potential style of play, is going to survive? I think that Rashford is on the chopping block, is in danger. I think that Luke Shaw might be in the chopping block. I think that Scott McTominay will be. The Varane, unfortunately, will go out the door, and that's why you saw them meeting up with Real Madrid months ago. I said that as well because his agent was there, right? So they might even have a Rafael Varane go back to Real Madrid. That's another 350 off your wage bill a week, 18 million in general. So what they're trying to do now is to trim that wage bill in certain ways. But who do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the usual suspects, Anthony Martial, Donny van
He's
der
already
Beek,
gone.
maybe even I'm even gonna sell one or two of the youngsters, man, like, because I think Mejbri has shown that he lacks the discipline to be a United player, so I'm selling him as well. I'm definitely selling Brandon Williams. I'm gonna sell probably Scott McTominay, Maguire. I'm selling Lindelof. I'm selling Varane. I'm selling Casemiro as well, bro, because I'm not here for it. I'm selling Rashford. If I could, I would sell all of them. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
to be honest, like, my first 3 sales, if I could have my way at United, would be Rashford, McTominay, and probably Lindelof or Maguire.
Lindelof
I feel like those three, if you could get those 3 players out of the club, then we can say we have changed the dressing
and
room.
Sancho.
Even Sancho and a Luke Shaw, I feel like those players, maybe we could even replace them with a British core. But I just feel like those 4 players represent the power in the dressing room that has been plaguing us for the last 4 years. And if we could get rid of them, then it's going to bring a breath of fresh air into the squad, more discipline. We will be able to move forward. People could say
Yeah,
Rashford scored 30 GA last season, but I implore you, look at his 9 years at Manchester United as the most senior player in the squad currently fit, right?
yeah,
He's
yeah. No,
not
no, true,
performed.
true, and the reason per se as well. And I agree with you, because then it goes back to the generational makeshift. Like, if you're now building a new team with youngsters coming up from the academy, the youngsters, they do tend to look up to the senior players as role models, right? If you now
100%.
all of a sudden look at, why are you getting away with murder? Why can you go to Belfast and have 20 shots of tequila and mistraining and everything else? Maybe I can get away with it too. You saw that Ganacho did a revolt, like, with his tweeting, right? He liked the tweet, right, of Goldbridge and stuff like that, and 20 hours later was gone. Because they think Anthony at the same time also busting his guts in training, putting a shift in, and then Rashford just walks into the team, right? So they are looking up to this as a role model. So my point is, if you're now introducing Shea Lacey signing his first contract, congratulations, Harry Almas and all of them, Kobe Mano, I don't want them to be colorized by this type of behavior. So the dressing room needs to be in harmony, because if you have a, how do I say, a culture, good dressing room culture, that is generating winning mentality. If you have somebody that says, "Ah, I don't give a fuss, I get paid 350," that is kind of dividing a rift, right? And if somebody's paying like 20,000 to play, and somebody's paying like 350 to play, and the one for 20,000 is playing better than the 350, of course it's going to cause a little bit of friction. So that needs to be consolidated, and that is what Brailsford is doing.
100%. And like, like big up to Stephanie and the guys in the VRM just getting in. And like Gan Oates is saying, I probably like I'm a Bruno fan, bro, but I keep it real. I'm a United fan 100% first. I would sell Bruno as well if that means that we're gonna get better on the field, bro. So
Yeah.
if you say we're gonna sell Bruno, Rashford, his first sale would be Sancho, Shaw, Maguire, and McTominay. We need to get them out. We lack a leader. That's why Bruno has to get before he hits 30. So
Yeah, you
I,
hit
I
the
mean, I
nail.
could agree with that, man. Like at the
Yeah.
same time, we all want United to be better. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I'm saying like at the same time, the players have a lot of accountability to hold for the performances this season based on their
100%.
basic lack of effort and intensity, which is naturally supposed to be the first thing we expect from them. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Before we
it's
expect
it's
tactics, and we expect that.
It is so goddamn true. When you look at the Champions League, when you look at the likes of Real Madrid, when you look at the likes of how they play, how they stick in, the athletes, they have something, they always find an answer, right? So you got to get rid of that 100%. I agree with you, and turn the page, right? I understand that we have a short term memory that we don't really remember, but you got to look at, Jesus Christ, we are so far behind. So these players, I don't mind to get rid of Bruno Fernandes or whatever. I know that people have their favorite players, but I'm like you. I look at club first in front of every team. If somebody is not performing, or is the missing spare part in the team, you find that spare part to make the engine work. But if you all of a sudden have, like, you go to a scrapyard, you put in one door from a Fiat and the window from a Ferrari, of course you got to have an, how do I say it, a dysfunctional team. And that dysfunctional team, including what Ralph Ragnick was saying, you need an open heart surgery. And the club and the new ownership establishment have actually had interviews, talks with Ralph Ragnick, taking all his points. And that, my dear friends, are what you're seeing right now being executed.
Exactly. And
The open
football
heart
through
surgery.
fall through podcast, bro. I don't want you to misunderstand me and Mick, bro, but we're just being bipartisan because you know what? There are some players who didn't perform last season that were getting the energy, get them out. But they are the players that are performing this season. There's some players who were performing last season, but they're not performing this season. So we're
Yeah,
just keeping a balance, because the fan base, there's lots of people who want this player out, that player out. Like for me, any player could be out, you know what I mean? As long as it makes
nobody's
United
certain.
stronger. So
Nobody's
it's
certain.
like,
Yeah,
and
no,
I'm
I
a
agree.
Bruno fan, by the way.
Yeah, no, I agree what the what the Fall Throw podcast is saying. But at the end of the day, we got to look at the overall club, our team. Who do we support, and take a step back and to say, well, I'm willing to see what they can do, like, to make a better team, because you got to admit that it's not easy to be a United supporter, to watch Dross football and losing. We want to be back on the winning ways. So in order to do that, you got to be ruthless, right? And I know it's going to upset a lot of people, like if they sell their favorite players. But hell, Sir Alex Ferguson used to do that as well, like, to sell players and just to rejuvenate. So it's nothing new. But we are here, not here to slag any place, but we look at the overall holistic perspective, and the proof will be in the pudding until it's eaten. Like, what we fans can do is just come together, have a proper discussion, um, look at two sides of the story, like A and B, and then at the end of the day, like, it's your opinion, like it's your mind that decides. That's all I can say. Like, big up Welsh girl as well. Alfred is coming in. Bruno needs to play with more serious players. And the thing is, if we're going to discuss Bruno, if Bruno is going to play, you need to have two more solid midfielders around him, right? Because if you look at the play, what we lined up with the midfield, we can't even hold the ball, right? And Bruno's role is a chance creator. You know Bruno, like he's but when he's playing more deeper, he's more better. But Bruno is the final third, like distributor. Like when he receives the ball, he knows already what to do with the ball, right? And unfortunately, we don't have runners enough to do that. And that comes down to athleticism as well. So if you're going to keep Bruno, you definitely need to build a midfield around Kobe Maino and add more energy into that midfield as well, right? Runners and technical abilities that can hold the ball.
100%. And Alfred Sendry, like you, I agree 100% because you know what? I'm a Bruno fan, man. You know what I mean? I'm a Bruno Fernandes fan.
I'm a
So,
Manchester United fan.
but I'm also a Manchester United fan. So as much as I like Bruno and I think he's the best midfielder that we have, I
Yeah,
just feel like there's some moments where he has to do better. Also I could say that we need better players around him, but at the same time, I have to be fair with everyone, and everyone has different opinions. So I'm just involving everyone when I'm speaking here right now. So I'm just letting you
100%.
know. Big up to you, bro.
100%. Yeah, big up. Listen, at the end of the day, we can discuss style of play, we can discuss tactics until we're blue. We all seen it with our own different eyes. And one thing is that needs to be fixed is the gap in the midfield. Um, we're supposed to attack as a team and defend as a team. We're supposed to press high up and do a mid block press as well, which we're not doing. And we all seen it. The result don't lie. But at the end of the day, you know, I just want to finish strong. I know we have Wembley, Coventry over the weekend. To be fair, semi-finals. Can we beat him? 100% we can. But in terms of the semi-finals, City played like what? How many minutes did they play yesterday? Totally cramped up, and they're playing Chelsea as well for the FA Cup. Mark,
100%. And I feel
do
like the
you
FA
think do
Cup.
you think they're going to now bottle it against FA Cup now in City
Well,
because
I
they are
mean,
totally dead?
I feel like City would be deflated from that penalty shootout. You could see some of the players asked to come off the game because they were tired, or they felt like some players were feeling an injury, like Kevin De Bruyne as well as Erling Haaland. But you never know what can happen come Saturday. They face Chelsea, who has been rested. It's going to be a tough game regardless. Their outings against Chelsea this season resulted in two high-scoring draws. So I think this is going to be another high-scoring game. However, if it was to go to penalties again, I could see Chelsea
Yeah.
winning, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
well, let's hope so. Let's hope so. Put more spanners in the wheel. Listen, at the end of the day, FA Cup. If we win FA Cup, that is a guaranteed ticket to Europe. It's not Champions League, but it's Europa League. And I know we don't want to play in Europa League, but it's damn better than playing Conference League because I don't want to play in Conference League. Right? Back United, that's what we're here for. We are pure Patriot Red channel, but we also here calling a spade a spade. So you in the VR room, you've been amazing. You there, you see yourself. And if you're watching in retrospective, if you're watching right now, we've been forgetting to give us a little bit of a cheeky thumbs up, like it's free of charge. Mark, anything else you have on your mind before we wrap up the stream?
I mean, guys, it's going to be very interesting this transfer window. I don't know if you guys, all of you, saw the stream that Mick and I did when we talked about some of the young players emerging from the under 18s. They are all going to be traveling with the first team in a first team only preseason tour this season, which is going to be based in California. There's not going to be a junior team and a senior team. It's just one team. It's also accounting for the fact that players are going to be away at the Euros and at the Copa America tournaments.
Yeah,
But this will not hamper United's start and progress
yeah,
towards the season, because the training that will be conducted will be to fit players in their positions and prepare for the start of the season.
yeah.
And as you can see, he was congratulating some of those youngsters who will be
Yeah,
traveling
he
with the
did.
squad. Shea Lacey, you
Oh,
see Ethan
he stood an
Wheatley,
extra couple seconds with Shay because that's my crown jewel there.
you
Shay,
know.
yeah.
So there's a lot of youngsters going to come through from the academy. I think they're going to skip the under 21s again. And, this is just one part because, there are one or two players that might be coming back
Yeah.
from loan, other
Listen,
youngsters.
Since
as well
when
as
did
the
we have the
incomings.
privilege? Since when did we have a privilege to speak about our academy? Like it's been ages now, and now everyone is talking about these gems, right? So Jamie Wayne, big up to you, saying that the foundation is ready. You took away
Oh,
somebody took
sorry,
away that
sorry,
one.
sorry.
Yeah,
My bad.
go back to Jamie Wayne's here before we close the
One
shop
sec,
because that
one
was a
sec.
good point. Um, where
Now
did
you
Jamie
have to
Wayne
help me
go?
find it because I'm super.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. I got it. The foundation is ready to rise for this club. Got the young lads coming up and who will fight for this that shirt. 100%. Now we are actually laying a new foundation, but just keep your this in mindset, right? It's been set that there's certain players to come in as yet. Yeah, there's a lot of PR at the moment, but remember who's still in the background. Don't forget that the Glazers are still running the club, right? The majority of it. Now, this is something new that we all have to sort of be look with critical eyes, right? So Jim Ratcliffe has come in with Trawlers Limited. They are promising the world. We have to still look at it from that point of view that they are not there yet. So, keep that fight alive to get the Glazers out. Don't forget that because today 1958 is having a meeting regarding they want to remove the season ticket holders, just bypass them so they can actually fill the stadium with traveling tourists, right? And that is for me a big no-no because season ticket holding in any sport, what you're looking at, rugby, baseball, American football, you all have season ticket holders. Either they are looking to increase the price or remove it totally to fill it with the selling price tickets expensive, including like tours around museum tours to make money. I'm against it. What's your thought on that, Mark?
I'm against that as well. I mean, I would have to say I'm also an international fan because, guys, I'm from Trinidad, but at the same time, you have to respect those fans that made it a lifelong family commitment and legacy to be part of
Yeah,
this football club all through the years and all through the tribulations and trials that we've went
yeah,
through. And I
yeah.
think it would be a gross negligence to them. Big
Yes.
up to you, Fall Through Podcast.
Yes, we do allow guests to come in and drop us if you want to be part of the panel. Everyone, when we do have a call-in show, but this is not a call-in show right now; it's a news show. We paste the link in the chat, so you just call in and have your say. So, 100%, this is what it's all about. It's a community platform. Anyone who wants to come in and have a say, if you have common sense footballing knowledge and not appearing naked or drunk or on abusive stuff, you know what I mean? Keep it civil. You're welcome. You know what I mean? So yeah, we would love to have you on, buddy. Like next time as well. So join the Telegram group as well. The link is in the YouTube description as well. This is kind of the Telegram VER room extended. Like there's currently 80 people join, currently having good debates. So join that one. It's easy to follow. Click on that link. It's in the description, in the video description, or on YouTube channel, or on the website as well, which is mufcrealist.tv. Go check it out as well. Anyway, that's all for us today, I would say. I think we had our say. The media has been spoken, and our job is to sort of dissect certain things. And at the end of the day, we'd like to hear what you think. We like to read your comments. If you agree, disagree, leave a comment in the comment section. It's great. Always good for the algorithm. Smash the like button if you haven't. It's free. And what else should I do, Mark?
Let's big up the VR room and all the guys in here with us because this show would be nothing without you viewers and you in the chat rooms. Lord Voldemort, big up to you. You got in late, but you always
Yeah,
get in with your comments. United need a complete rethink. They are nowhere near the top clubs in the Prem. They will end up like Derby and Notts
right.
Forest if they don't. And
100%.
this percentage ownership coming in seems like they're doing a good job with that. Big up to you, Neil Driscoll, always pumping in the chat. Big up to you, big experience lad over there. Big up to you, Jamie Wayne. Big up to you, PJ. I see you in the chat quite a few times.
Yeah,
Come in,
PJ.
keep in here. When there's a
Everyone.
call in show, you should call in. Big up to you, Brian Fawcett. Fall Through Podcast. come through again. We'll have a call-in
Come
show
through.
probably tomorrow or at the end of the
Yeah,
weekend.
probably. Yeah, we do
So you
something,
never
and we
know.
usually do when we do the warm up, like before the game, we have a call in, like people can call in. So have your eyes on the price for the Sunday warm up calling, pre kickoff as well, and we do the watch along as well. So anyway, this is it for us today. We're going to wrap up the stream. Gehan as well coming in. Thank you. We might be back this evening. I'm not sure because I have some commitments, but if we do, we might bring in Nuruddin, that United Real Therapy, in as special guest. We are about to confirm that as well. But until then, people, thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. This has been Mick, and
And
that has
this
been
Mark, big up to you all. Smash a like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bells. And those of you watching on Twitter X, retweet, 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 retweet.
yeah,
Especially because you know what? City is out, Arsenal is out, and today Liverpool will probably be out, guys. So
yeah,
you know what? It's a good
100%.
weekend.
Thank you, Mark, for coming in. And guys, this kind of wraps up the show at the end of the day. Thank you all for coming. If you're going to watch some Champions League, you've done it. If you're going to watch Europa League, if you're going to watch some Liverpool salted tears, I fully back you. But now it's time for us to say goodbye. And thank you for watching. I got one thing more to say. Glory, glory, Manchester United. And remember, Glazers out at all cost. This has been Mick Ruby from MUFC Realist TV News Corner and Mark. Thank you for watching. See you later. Bye for now. Ciao. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.